Well, welcome to a bait maker's diary. Now, the last time I talked to you, crikey, we were in lockdown, the world was in turmoil. It still is, to be fair, in some regards, but back at the start of lockdown, we didn't know whether it was coming or going. But I come to you now in a new setting. We're on a farm, on a dairy farm, and this has been a long time coming. So during all the lockdown period, I've been frantically busy trying to buy this place for personal and for the business as well, and I've managed to do it, so it's been successful. So it's great to be here, and finally I think now I'm a farmer of sorts anyway. So taking on this huge project, and I'm sure this will get covered in the diary piece over the coming months or years even, because yeah, I've bitten off quite a large chunk to chew here, and yeah, I've got to get started. There's going to be loads going on here. But anyway, as I was saying, lockdown, we sort of come out of that period and we're getting back to some sort of normality. From the business point of view, it's been absolutely hectic. I think when we last talked, we were wondering what was going on. I furloughed everybody, had to bring everyone back literally a week later, because as soon as the government gave a sniff that there was going to be some sort of fishing, everyone jumped on it. They was taking their mums, their dads, their brothers, their aunts, their uncles, their dog fishing. Everyone was on the bank, and of course they all needed bait as well. So the first thing they did was jump online, couldn't go to the shops. They all ordering bait off the mail order companies. Our sales just went through the roof, which is a fantastic problem to have, but a huge problem, and a huge problem because of supply. If you imagine, all of our ingredients, all of the packaging, everything's coming from abroad, from your Spain, France. Some of the packaging is coming from China, from India. You can see why very quickly that a lot of companies ran out of products. Well, they had the product necessarily, but they didn't have the packaging to put the product in. So it's a real strange time, and a challenging time as well. And it meant that everyone was calling up wanting their bait tomorrow. Some of the lead times went up, and Baitworks, for the first time in our history, we've had to put our lead time up to sort of 10 days, and some customers were waiting longer depending on the order and what they ordered. So it was uncharted territory for us, and one obviously you learn a huge deal from. But nice to say it's sort of settling down now. We're getting back to more of the sort of status quo, and it leaves us now to concentrate on what is, you know, a massive project and a massive point in my life, and Baitworks as well. So there's been, yeah, a massive amount going on. But yeah, welcome to the farm. Now, this was an old dairy farm going back 25 years ago, operational, a huge farm, had loads and loads of land with it. A lot of that's been sold off now, and you're left with the farm and some land. We've got some ponds here that I covered in the other diary piece, and there's lots of fish down there, so it's very exciting. I've got to sort those out this year as well. I've got a lot to do, but we've got a train track, as you can probably hear, going past, probably as the crow flies, about sort of, I don't know, 1,000 meters away. It's tipping down with rain. It's very wet here anyway, lots of surface water, so there's going to be options for more lakes and more water eventually, which is going to be, you know, as any angler would dream, a very exciting proposition. But if I wind the clock back to where Baitworks began, and that was, crikey, some 15 years ago now. That was like my mum and dad's garage when I used to live in Bristol. And we've still got some customers that remember coming to collect bait from me back then. And that was, crikey, very raw at the time, trying to produce, you know, 20 or 30 kilos a day on rolling tables, trying to boil the bait so it coincided with my neighbours not being in, so they couldn't smell what was going on. It was yeah, quite a humble start for a bait company. Like everyone starts out somewhere, but from there we managed to progress and move up to the Cotswold Water Park into a slightly bigger unit. The first unit was no bigger than a garage, and then to operate and service anglers up here. And I've made quite a lot of sacrifices, I've made huge sacrifices over the years with the family to get myself into a position where we are today. Not going on holiday. I didn't go on a family holiday for the first 10 years. All the money that was made in bait was reinvested back into machinery to increase our capacity to bring down lead times. And all the while, everything snowballs around. It's a slow burner. You get bigger and bigger. We was We were never in the trade, so we were never advertising in magazines. We always sold direct, so it's much slower burner to a lot of the companies who can go in and invest a lot of money into advertising and be everywhere at one time. It's been a very slow progression, so we've got very strong foundations. But what it's meant is we are able to invest back into the company inward, and the position we're in now up in Cirencester, we've just run out of space. We've maximised the space there. It's difficult to operate as a business as the companies grew, particularly over this period of the COVID situation where sales have increased. And although that's a false situation to predict future growth on, it does highlight some problem areas, and certainly the space. So what you see around me now is hopefully going to alleviate some of that. We've got many options sort of moving forward, which is, you know, a great situation to be in. But yeah, enough of me waffling on. We've got a lot to do here, but you know, it's a very exciting project and one I can't wait to get stuck into. Well, in terms of fishery management for myself here on the farm, I've actually inherited a couple of ponds which are absolutely stuffed full of carp. Thousands of them. Well, I'm guessing there's thousands. I'm looking at it from my eye and I can see hundreds and hundreds, but I'm sure it goes into the thousands. And a bit of a plan moving forward, you know, part of it for me is I love to sort of start again. Although I've got all these fish here, the plan is to give these away to some local clubs so they can benefit from them. But the first thing I need to do is to make sure that these fish are in a good bit of health. Now, you can do obviously visual checks, but I need to send them a sample away to be checked for parasites, to make sure there's no nasty parasites, category 1, category 2. So I can then give them away in confidence they're going to cause no issues when they go into other fisheries. So first port of call is to do something I haven't done for many years, and that is to use a little pole or a little whip, because there's loads of them like sort of that big, all the way up to about £1. Well, I need to catch about 30 to send off, so I'm going to go and purchase a little whip with a little float, and I'm looking forward just to watching the float bop and duck. And I reckon if I go down there I could probably catch, I don't know, 30 odd fish and probably 30 cats if I don't lose any. So yeah, I'm going to get on the case, make a bit of a plan. At the moment the weather's absolutely terrible, so it's not too conducive to sitting on a little chair next to a little lake. But yeah, I'm going to get myself a little bit of bait, a bit of a float, and see if we can't make a plan and catch a few carp. Right, I'm going to finish this tea and look online to try and buy a pole float and a whip. I'm guessing that's where you buy them. Right. Well, this is a bit of fun. This takes me right back, and just to sit on the bank with a float, really simple, bit of line and a hook and a few maggots, and look at this, catching carp straight away. Such a welcome relief from getting out of the factory. You know, spend my whole life in there, it seems. So to have just a spare hour or two just to come away, just to catch loads of these little fish, it's truly a stress buster for me. And you know what, you can see why people gravitate to this fishing and crave it so much. It takes me back to when I was a little boy, you know, in and around the lakes on Bristol and some of the rivers as well, and just sitting behind a float, and this would capture my attention for hours, absolutely hours, days upon days, down with my friends. And yeah, sort of miss it really. I haven't really float fished for a long time now that sort of carp's taken over. But just to come and watch a float, watch it dib and bob, and you never know what you're going to catch here. This is a pond that I have no idea what's in really. I know there's a lot of small ones because they bred, but there are some bigger fish, so there's always a chance of a bigger fish. But we're catching loads of little ones, and as an absolute getaway, this is, I can't think of anywhere better. Very stressful at work at the moment, lots going on, and yeah, sat behind a float. It's about, I don't know, 26 degrees today. I've got the dog behind me, she's having a great time. She's at one of my sandwiches already, and she's now sleeping it off. So yeah, we're having a lovely time down here, but the end result obviously is to catch 30. I reckon I've got about that many now. I've been here about an hour or so, and the hope is he's going to go off and get health checks, as I said earlier before, and then they're going to be given away to probably a local club. And my hope for these fish is that they're going to inspire the next generation of anglers, because there's be some young lads fishing in the local club lakes, and they're getting much pleasure out of what I'm doing today, and hopefully it might just put them on the path of a bit of angling. So that's the hope. But for now, so I'm going to bring him a bit closer and get my bites a little closer in there. For now, I'm just going to while away another 10 minutes. The missus has already texted me. I've got a bit of food on the table, so I've got to get back. It ends too quickly. But tonight I have got another important job to do, because we've moved in down the farm. I've got loads of boxes to clear out, so I've got to make some time for that, and of course make some time for the old family as well. So I'm going to sit out here for another 5 or 10 minutes, maybe catch a few more. There you go, right on cue. This little common, yeah, and while away a few more minutes before my missus comes down here stamping her feet and saying your tea's going to be in Roxy if I don't come up any earlier. Look at that. That'll do. Thank you, Mr. Carp. Maybe one more. Well, I really have got to go now. The missus has just texted again, but I can't go without showing you these fish, so I'm going to whip them out and see what we got. Well, here we go. Look at this. Crikey, there's more than I thought. Look at that. Nice little selection of fish. Loads of them there. Look at that. It's a little common, little mirror. And this pond's got a load of small ones. These lakes are interconnected, so the other pond's got slightly bigger fish in. But for ease of transport, I'm going to pick 30 of these fish out, and these are going to go off for their health checks. So yeah, nice little bag of fish there. Right, let's get this done and get some food down my nanny goat.
Mate, you're not going to be subjecting me to Radio 2 for 3 hours.
Whoa, nothing wrong with Radio 2. What's wrong with Radio 2? Radio 2?
I'll tell you what is wrong, because you've been finger dancing for the last hour on the steering wheel.
Nothing wrong with that, mate. Hey, it's Friday, isn't it? It's Friday. Got to enjoy a Friday and a bit of Radio 2.
Oh, it must be an age thing. I don't have a nap a bit. I'll have a little sleep. Wake me up with her.
Well, we are on our way, and I, for one, am really excited to be fishing a new venue called Fen Kai Tinant. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. Apologies for anyone, any Welsh viewers. But yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. I had to practice that a few times. But yeah, really looking forward to going over and spending a couple of days and speak to a lot of people through Baitworks, and talk to anglers, fishery owners. And Steve, who called me, was particularly gushing about a new project that he was undertaking, which was creating his own fishery, and something that's really, really close to my heart, because I'm on the same path in doing exactly the same. So after we got talking about bait and fish, it actually transpires that we had a lot of mutual friends as well. In actual fact, bizarrely, he had been fishing, I fished Yateley as a young lad, crikey, when I was about sort of 17, 18, and he was fishing there at the same time on the match lake where I fished. And we were sort of swapping photos and stories and that. So yeah, he's been around, and I said, we've got a few mutual friends, which is amazing just to realise what a small world is, particularly the angling world. And he set this fishery up with his partner, Sioned. And Sioned is a Welsh international carp fisherwoman. So as you can imagine, their life is centred around fishing, which is awesome, and that's reflective in the conversations that I've had. Now, the place where we're going is an old lake on the side of a hill, believe it or not. So I'm really interested to see how that works. But it was dug formerly for a trout fishery that never quite worked. So it's just been an existing lake there for 30 odd years until Steve and Sioned purchased it around a couple of years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And looking on the Instagram page, you can see there's a load of work that's gone in. So there's not many other species in there, hardly anything at all, and he's actually gone out and selected carp, as of which there are around 39 fish. I say around, there is exactly 39 fish in there, what she's purchased, and a lot of these have been hand selected, so you can imagine the quality of them is going to be absolutely top notch. If you could pick your own fish, that's the ultimate dream, isn't it, right? So yeah, those fish are doing very, very well as well. They're putting on really good weight gains. It must be incredibly rich water, so I'm really interested to go and see how it's all set out there. And of the stock, the fish now, because it hasn't been fished a hell of a lot, so we're quite privileged to be in this position, but in terms of the stock, then there's 39 fish, 20 of them are over 29 pounds, so can't wait to have a go for some of these fish. Going to be really exciting. Now, I'm on the motor at the moment, but I know that I'm going to be very, very soon into all the valleys and some very long and winded roads with some beautiful scenery. I used to actually play football for Aberystwyth Town like 20 years ago, so it's 20 years since I'm going to be doing this run. But yeah, it brings back memories of playing football for that football club and travelling all over Wales to do it as well. So yeah, a bit of nostalgia for me. But anyway, I for one can't wait. I'm going to concentrate on the road. Hopefully the next time put the camera on, we'll be seeing a lovely bit of blue. Oh, that's a stiff old wind coming through there, but we're here, and wow, what a place. It didn't fail to disappoint. Steve's been telling me all the way over. I gave him a quick call and he said the rolling Welsh hills are absolutely stunning, and do you know what, it's so unspoilt, it's beautiful. I can already see buzzard and there's a kite there, look over the lake. Absolutely spellbound by yeah, the beauty of coming into, it feels like it's untouched here, doesn't it? Quite the other side of Wales, but yeah, well worth the journey. I'm going to stretch my legs. I can't wait to have a look around, and yeah, I can see here already there's a bit of a high vantage point. I'm going to get there and have a good look. Right, enough of this, let's get out. Well, you join me on the side of a cliff, or it feels like a bit of side of a cliff. This is actually a hillside, really, really rocky, but it's given me loads of good vantage points as well, so I can get at the top there and look down, and that's what's drawn me to this area initially. The water clarity there's visibility down to 4 or 5 foot, so you can see quite a lot of the sort of down the marginal shelves. You can see all the rocks and everything, but importantly I've seen a couple of fish. They've been coming through quite close, and I can see them circling the island as well, and generally spending a bit of time in this area where I'm now, and it's no coincidence we've got a lovely wind trickling in. It's actually a northeasterly, so it's a bit of chill to it, but these carp are behaving just how natural carp would, following the wind. We've got a lovely lily bed just to the right here, and the fish are tracking around, and they're just using this area. This is where I've seen the most fish. I've been at the top end, had a good look when I got here. Saw the odd fish or two about, but from getting up on this vantage point here, becomes obvious where it needed to be. So although there's not many swims on this fishery yet, I've had to make my own, and my improvisation is getting stones underneath the bed chair to level it all up, and yes, just a bit awkward fishing, but I'm hoping it's going to reward me, because this is the area to be in, I feel, and we'll see what happens. But there's no givens in fishing, you just never know, and some of these fish that haven't been fished for a lot, they'd be quite spooky as well, so I'm not going to count my chickens, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I've got all my stuff here already. I don't have to bring a load of stuff because Steve, the host, has very, very kindly and importantly provided a lot of equipment for us. So we've got waders, we've got unhooking mats, weigh slings, everything you'd need to take care of the fish for biosecurity. Everything's disinfectanted, which is great to see. You know, great to protecting. You know, what is incredible stock here. You've got to protect these fish, and having all this on site means anglers haven't got to bring it for one, so that's great. No stinky nets on the way home, hopefully. But also, obviously, it's keeping the fish in tip-top condition. So that is fantastic. In terms of tactics, well, I've already got 2 rods out, but I haven't put the third one out yet because it's really important to go through some of the terminal tackle requirements to fish somewhere like this, and it's actually going to be part of the rules moving forward. And part of the rules are you need because of the terrain of the bottom. Now this lake was dug 30 odd years ago, and intentionally it was going to be dug for trout, which never transpired, but it's dug on the side of you can see from the landscape, on the side of a hill, and you've got rocks everywhere. And when I say rocks, you struggle sometimes to get the bank sticks in, but this is just one of thousands that are here, and they're much bigger than this, some of them the size of cars. So it goes to figure that some of those are in the lake as well, and you can see in the margins it's quite a rocky terrain, particularly on the undulations where you've got different variations in depths. Those are not smooth, there's rocks and boulders. So going back to fish safety, having the right terminal tackle is crucially important. So with that in mind, there's going to be some rules enforced, and that is 0.40 line, which is about 15 pound line, which is obviously very sensible on a venue like this. That then goes to a lead core leader, again very tough and durable on rocks. And then above that is another leader in 50 pound breaking strain, and that again is to protect against the rocks here. That's the consideration, and then obviously tying on to your 15 pound main line. So there is some things to be aware of, but all this is about protecting the fish. There's a lot of rocks out there. The last thing you want to do is get cut off, and if you fish effectively and nicely sort of locked up, just to ensuring the fish come off the bottom. And one thing I forgot to mention is the lead's dropping as well, so have to drop your lead. Imperative that you drop lead on every single take. And what that means is, everyone will know, if you drop the lead and fish a fairly tight clutch, the fish invariably come up off the bottom. They're coming away from all that structure. And although we've found quite a few nice areas out there, and there's gravel and there are some odd rocks there, so a lead getting pinned in one of them, it's absolutely imperative that that comes off. So that's a little bit about sort of I suppose the tackle that we're using. In terms of sort of the areas of the lake, then the depth is up and down, and you've got depths down to sort of 14, 13 foot, shallower in the margins, as you would guess. So I've put the left-hand rod up the margin where I saw fish cruising around a little point. Looks an obvious spot. And the right-hand rod is gone over towards an island, and they're using that like a roundabout. There's a lot of fish that are just circling around and then going off on their different paths. And then there's 3 rods here. So the third rod, which is this one here, which is the tried and trusted, that's going out into open water. There's a deep silty area there. I think my feeling is I'm going to put a little bit of bait out there, because I can commit a bit of bait to that sort of area, and see what happens. So that's going to go out there now. I've got the old helicopter setup. Let's take this off. Got my old helicopter setup. I've got my trusty little stiff hinge, a nice sharp hook, barbless raw in here as well, another thing I forgot to mention, and a little white Sent from Hell pop-up. Now these pop-ups I'll take absolutely anywhere, so you haven't fished for a while, they're a little confidence boost for me, and surely those fish can't resist one of those little white flecks down here. It stands out actually very well off the bottom. It looks quite a browny colour down there when you look through the water, and something nice white and visual is going to stand out. So that's a bit of a plan. We've got probably, I don't know, not too long until it's going to get dark. The nights are already starting to draw in. We're going to get well into autumn soon, next few weeks. Crikey, where's the year gone? But I'm going to sit back and enjoy it. It's rare to get this time myself, to be dragged away from the very busy factory this year. So this is a welcome release. I'm going to lap it up, even if I don't catch a fish. It's going to be nice to get the rods out for a night, and who knows, I can be lucky and maybe catch 1 or 2 as well. That'd be nice. But in the meantime, I'm going to get this rod out. what a morning. The sun is up above the lovely Welsh hills. The mist has risen and we're into another fish. Just kicked off, just caught one actually, and just sorting the fish out. And we've got Steve in the water next to me holding the fish, and he's got another net ready, and hopefully we'll see this one as well. But yeah, crikey, they don't have pull. This is another turbocharged carp in great condition, and yeah, full of beans at the moment. So I'm going to concentrate on this and see if we can make it too. Another half a rod length. Oh yeah, I think he's there. Lovely. Oh yes. Well, how's about that? A couple in the morning. Oh dear me. And you've got a lovely linear and another really thick set fish. How's about that, Steve? That's a nice one, isn't it?
That's lovely. I've got a feeling both these fish are on the missing list.
Oh wow.
So it's the first time they've been out.
Well, there you go.
So there
Nice
you
to
are.
turn up.
Yeah, lovely.
Well, we're trying now to organise a bit of chaos and get them on the banks and get them weighed and have a good look at them. But yeah, great result, fantastic. There we go, beautiful in the morning sunshine, lovely. This one went at 22.5. And what's more, there's probably a bigger one in the net over there I'll show you now, but yeah, absolutely chuffed. Chuffed to get this one. Thank you, Mr. Carp. So that is 29.10. Wow, that'll do. Wicked. Yep, just making sure. Yeah, 29.10. Get in there. What a beautiful fish as well. Amazing. Wow. Yeah, I'm buzzing. Let's get in the water. I'll get a couple of snaps and that, and yeah, have a well-deserved tea. It's been a bit carnage this morning. This swim's a bit like a hurricane's been through it, but crikey, I take this every morning. Well, this one's the bigger of the set, and this one is, well, both of them to be fair, are from the old mate Simon Scott at VS Fisheries, and look at that, what a solid fish. And they're all going in the right way. This one was just a couple of ounces short of £30. Not that weight matters, you know, when you're catching amazing fish, but for record keeping, you know, it's absolutely crucial to have accurate records of how the fish are doing year on year. Say they're all going the right way, and we saw some huge fish yesterday walking around and from the drone. Yeah, some epic fish about, and yeah, it's really exciting when you get a bite because you just don't know what it's going to be. Well, my 2 days have come to an end, but it's been a fantastic trip, very, very enjoyable. Big thank you out to Sinead and to Steve for being the host. They've been amazing, and yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back because this fishery is only going one way, so it's going to be great to see how it develops. Old Mike, bless him, he's been running around filming for the last couple of days, but he did manage to get the rods out, and even more, he did manage to nick one last night. So all in all, yeah, a fantastic trip. But I got to get home, the factory calls. I'm hoping when I get home there's going to be some news on the fish that I sent off for the health check. So fingers crossed for them, find out when I get home. But until then, right, let's make our way back. Well, this is good news. They've all gone for their health checks, and as expected, well, I suppose not expected, but all fish have parasites. These have got a couple, nothing to worry about. It's, they're looking for the real nasty ones that can't be transferred or can't be passed around. So yeah, these fish have got a clean bill of health, which is fantastic news. I'm now going to contact Paul from Bitterwell Lake, which is actually a lake I used to fish years ago as a little boy. So I thought it would be fitting to give back some carp to where I first started carp fishing. So yeah, with this in hand, I'm going to give him a bell. I've actually had to light the fire. It's actually getting a little bit chilly outside, and although we are edging into autumn, we really don't move any fish until the temperature's low for transportation. So yeah, I'm going to warm my hands, and logistics of getting them out of the pond and getting them down to Bitterwell. I've got to try and net them, so I've got to work all that out as well. But anyway, that's for next time. I hope you've enjoyed the diary piece. I'll pick it up, hopefully, with a load of fish going down to Bristol.